There's simply not enough time to explore all the reasons President Reagan succeeded, why he's revered by so many, and why we are celebrating his birth and life today. Perhaps it is no more complicated than it was difficult not to like President Reagan. For with President Reagan, what you saw was what you got: humble, honest, and trustworthy. And perhaps that alone made him a great leader. As many of you know, President Reagan was a prodigious writer. I mean writing by hand. He didn't use a typewriter or a computer. At least I never saw one in the Oval Office, never saw him use a typewriter. As we now know from that splendid volume in his own hand, from the Reagan diaries, from the First Lady's "I love you, Ronnie," and from the touching letter to his fellow Americans telling him of his Alzheimer's, President Reagan wrote with a flowing prose and a wonderfully legible hand. President Reagan wrote notes to staff, some of my precious possessions, letters to world leaders, responses to Americans who wrote him. In fact, the correspondence office at the White House was directed to give him a sample every week of the tens of thousands of letters he received at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And he answered most of them that he received by hand. And he relied on the U.S. Postal Service to deliver every one of them. Now I ask Mrs. Reagan, Governor Barnett, Mr. Highbush, Ms. Pruitt, and Mr. Forbes if they won't join me at the stamp location as we unveil the stamp celebrating the life, times, and America of President Ronald Wilson Reagan.